I am here to help you shine your brilliance, access your genius, and align your body, mind, heart, and soul to live your best life. Anastasia redox, energy and vitality, ends aches and pains, replenishes your skin, eliminates wrinkles, recalibrates your system, improves performance, improves clarity, stops rapid aging of your cells, cell nutrition for advanced absorption. Live your best life now. Sign up today at shopassia.com/Joan of Angels. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you beautiful souls around the world. This is episode 6 of Shine Your Brilliance, a transformative talk show with Joan of Angels. I'm your guide, a visionary artist, and transformational coach. What happens when the people we fall in love with turn out to be charlatans? Today's show, Transform Trauma into Triumph with Anastasia Armanova, will be a real eye-opener, friends. We're going to explore the journey of one woman who herself is a pure spiritual teacher who was misled by a trickster, and find out how he is a criminal being sought after by the government now because of the sex cult that he has created. And he is still on the run after women in Italy filed a criminal case against him. So please stay tuned for this very compelling show so you can also see what kinds of signs this is and how you too can avoid anything like this. So join us for this transformative journey of healing today, where our guest is going to share her profound wisdom on this. Now, before we begin, I'm Joan of Angels. I want to introduce myself to you. I'm also known as I am a beacon of light in the world of transformation as an intuitive guide, a visionary artist, and a transformational coach. I help bring a unique blend of spiritual insight along with artistic creativity and coaching skills that help you uncover your true potential so you can live your best life now. And my journey began also with a very powerful spiritual awakening, which has led me to embrace my calling as a healer and mentor. My visionary artwork serves as a portal for many to inspire higher consciousness and uplift everyone who sees it. I work with coaching and intuitive guidance to help you navigate your personal challenges, unlock your wisdom, and shine your brilliance. So guys, if you are new to this channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to bring on my guest as I introduce her. She is just an amazing being. She's a Kundalini activation master in the massive orgasmic activations. She offers classes and groups worldwide. She's extremely famous, and we are just honored to have you here, sweetheart. Welcome.
Thank you very much, dear John, for such a beautiful... I wish I am that famous that you described, but not yet. I'm just going in there, slowly my way.
Your work, you know what? Your work is taking off, and I watch you. I see some of these videos. I can't wait to see you in person and experience my own Kundalini activation with you. My guides, from the moment I saw you, said that woman can activate you. And if she can activate me, she can activate all of you. But meanwhile, your story is so compelling that I want you to give a background to people about who you are, who you were when you met this particular gentleman, if you're going to give us his name or not. But yes, let's start from there.
Yes, thank you very much, John. Hi, everyone. My name is Anastasia Armanova. I am a Kundalini activation master, the international teacher and the founder of Purity Sensation School of Energy. I train people in Russia, in the United States, and hopefully in Europe this summer to work with beautiful modality of energy transmission with Kundalini energy, Shakti, life force, that beautiful, powerful modality. Thank you very much, John, for giving that platform, for inviting me for this beautiful interview, because the time has come to speak, to expose that information, just to warn some people who are out there searching for the guidance, searching for the spiritual teachers. And first of all, I'm going to expose one individual who was my spiritual spiritual ex-husband, Shivananda Swamiji, who literally fled his country because some of the ladies already filed a criminal case against him, and the national TV put information exposing the sex cult there in Italy. Second of all, I would spill some tea on my personal story. I'm going to be sharing how I went through that year of the hell that I call it in 2020, when I was in that spiritual marriage, when I was involved in the ashram work, building, creating the community. And I also going to touch upon the impact that has been created after me posting about my truth, about my stories on social media. It was just fascinating, it was mind-blowing how many women were going or are going or were recently going through similar experiences despite their marriage, relationship, or family members. It can be any gender, any ethnicity, any culture, anyone in the world, any age. But it's the narcissistic behavior, narcissistic disorder that is like copy paste the same patterns that put us in a depleting mode. And finally, I will share some tip hand to go through my healing process. Stay tuned.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So powerful already. I can feel that. So tell us about how you met him and came under his spell, and give us the whole story so we can just really feel what happened.
Sure. My spiritual journey has happened since 2012. I was really exposed to all of the teachers, exposed beautiful spiritual information that trained me during the 6 or 7 years in my journey, that I have had an idea that my future husband, my future partner, I envision him to be a teacher to the world, not so much of the teacher to me, because I kind of felt who I am becoming, potential spiritual teacher in the making. And to meet that teacher, I knew that I still have a lot of work to do. So it took me years and work and beautiful modalities to finally get to meet that type of the person. In 2019, when I was 33 years old, I had a beautiful reading from my spiritual teacher, astrologer. She's a mystic. She's a hybrid. Cannot really expose information about her because she is in under the scenes. But she was telling me, based on my astrology chart for that solar year of 2019, when I was 33, she was saying, Anastasia, first of all, you will be going for your 33rd birthday to somewhere special in a beautiful country. Second of all, you're going to meet a teacher, and it's not a romantic relationships, but she said he would look certain way with long black hair, great temples, and he will spot you, he will recognize you, that he needs to train you, and you should know, he will never tell you that, but you should know you are his energetical equal. Third of all, you're gonna start being in a guru's world. And she was kind of concerned for that because she probably saw some information, but she said, anyway, you're going to be in a guru's world for 2 or 3 years. And also she said, be aware, this part of small information I kind of somehow dismissed. I don't remember. Right now I'm rehearing my sessions with her from that time. And I remember now, oh my God, it was just a warning from her. She said, be aware of the trickster. He has a sign of a Gemini. And she also said something more for that unfolding year. But those 3 major things that happened to me. First of all, I went to India for the first time in my life for the 33rd birthday, just to be on the footsteps of Jesus Christ. I didn't go to India for the India. I went to that energy, to that frequency. Second of all, in April or May, I went to a first CAP session with Bennett Wong, the founder of CAP modality. And it was just mind-blowing experience when my full Kundalini was like the fountain, like the explosion of the orgasmic sensation unbearable to my vessel. It was just atomic bomb that was transmitting to to the group, to the environment, it was just life-changing experience for me. And then 4 months later, after when I was initiated and trained to work with CAP modality, when my Kundalini was vibrant already, speaking, emanating, right, transmitting, 4 months later, I go to California and I attend this spiritual satsang of this individual. And it was just like a perfect match of the union that made in heaven. That was in my ideal world. That what I was envisioning. It was just boom. When we met in that transmission in his life, the eye transmission he does, the attunement, my energy, my Kundalini just was rising. And now I understand it was also because of me. But before, I was thinking, oh my God, it's a really special teacher that is activating that. It was the equal process, right, with that guru.
Did you remember at any point that reading that you had? Because I had the same thing where my psychic said, don't give him money, don't go there. You should extricate yourself immediately. And I thought, I know more than she does.
Absolutely. You would give your money, the last things, you would give everything to that person, because those tricksters, those individuals, I'm talking about people like Shivananda Swamiji in that powerful status that they created. It's actually self-proclaimed status of Swami, of a guru. They self-proclaimed. Absolutely. Okay. When I started to find out about information about his past before he became a guru, I reached out to India myself, and I found out the truth about the story he always talks about. Beautiful, beautiful story when he was recognized, etc., etc. That people from his story denied that, and they said it's all fake. We deny this information. So when all of this came to my consciousness, I realized for that spiritual marriage, I was kept in my narratives, in my purity, in my blindness. I would say he kept me to continue doing his agenda, because the moment when he met me, it was a perfect chance for him to get married and to have a protection cap over him, because he has already created a huge mess in the United States, in Europe, and I was really blind, not knowing what was really happening. I was just in love, protecting, supporting. Bizarre.
But he had an agenda, and part of his agenda was, if he's with you, your air of purity basically would give him an air of purity, because he was already being uncovered. So tell us a little bit more about how the story unfolded then, and how you found out, or what you feel comfortable sharing.
Absolutely. I am always saying right now, first of all, it's the first time of exposing that publicly. Thank you, John, for that opportunity. And I'm open to any interviews, any discussions based on that subject, especially to the people who are right now getting to know these people who are still confused. Hear the truth, guys, that very soon after our marriage in India, it was a beautiful marriage in all the Hindu tradition with puja. We were separated because of the COVID, and we were separated about for 6 months. That gave me the opportunity to see and to find out through social media how he actually was underneath his image. He was going to Poland, he was in India, he was in Italy, having some ladies visiting his place in Italy, having orgies, having cheating episodes, having multiple affairs on social media. And how I found out, because I became like a drug addict in that moment. I lost my dignity. I was like so traumatized that I was diving down spiral into the process of finding out, searching, researching. I was so numb and traumatized, I could not even hear my conscience. When I was seeing how his personality, the way of his communication is so not integrated with the image he presents with everyone. And I I cannot say that it was because of him, he led me, right? Because it was a match. Somehow I was in that situation that my soul requested that thing to go through, right? But for me, I have no excuse to be in that situation and still doing the choices that I did. But once you are in that blindness and your body is not, it's screaming, but you're not hearing it any longer. Your soul is crying, you're dying inside, but you're not hearing it any longer, because the relationship with the narcissist, who is constantly gaslighting, manipulating, and lying. And I had no idea about narcissistic behavior before. Zero. I thought it was gaslighting. I thought it's kind of the way of communicating. And it was so painful, so hurtful. But even despite all of that, I still decided to forgive him, because my pure essence was always seeing on a deep soul level who he is, right? Who is still experiencing, he's still going. So my Mother Teresa heart, compassionate heart, I'm like, but he's not like, God, forgive him for not knowing what he's doing, for not being aware what he's doing. That way I was.
So you saw his inner heart kind of just like, I mean, I did the same thing, and I know thousands of women who do the same thing. We want to believe, we don't want to believe our eyes and ears. We want to believe that in his heart, this is who he is. But I want to say something before you continue. I honestly believe that you chose this, sacrificed yourself in a way so that you can actually help other women in the spiritual community to see the truth about some of their gurus and leaders. And it takes a very strong voice, Anastasia, really a lot of courage to come out and share this as a way of helping other women. I mean, because we're most vulnerable when we're in this, quote, spiritual phase where we believe everyone. We only see pureness and goodness. So for all of you out there, you know, she's being a way shower to actually share kind of how she even fell for it. You know, you think the rest of us could fall for it, but not her. But the truth is that this is men like this prey on us. And you came along to help many women with this. And I truly believe that. So
Absolutely.
I just wanted to project that. So tell me, like, what actually snapped you? And so you were under a spell. And believe me, I understand the spell. What snapped you out of the spell? How did that happen?
So I remember going through this experience for 1 year. Like, imagine I was numb. I was like, metaphorically, I was saying, I'm in hell walking through the fire. They pour the lava on me. My skin is already gone. I have just bones. I was 37 kilograms, about below 80 pounds. And I was thinking, Anastasia, what else should happen to you? What else? Like, should you be close to death for you to stop? What are you doing? Wake up. But I couldn't. And it was cheating after cheating and multiple affair on text messages, and having like 5, even 7 women. He was copy pasting the same message, manipulating them to come to ashram to support. It was really, really disgusting. But I have a soul sister who was my roommate here in New York, my best friend, and she went through that experience with me. She knew me before that. She knew me in that. And when she was seeing me in late 2020, she was saying, Anastasia, I don't recognize yourself. I remember how lively, bright, vibrant, how juicy full you are with your energy, with your goals, life mission, all of the impact you wanted to create it in the world. I don't recognize you. Can you please call this woman? And this woman was a therapist. And what snapped me out of it, I remember in 2021, it was February. We were supposed to go to New York together. Something happened and he could not come because it was after COVID. And I happened to travel alone. I even remember it was so sad. it was like I was delusioned. I was feeling one thing on the inside, and I was still going. We were still going and trying to have a baby every day. Like how bizarre it was. I was completely delusioned. And what helped me when I came to New York alone, I started to be in my own frequency, working with Kundalini activation with my people who were coming to my classes before. And me being in that energy kind of a little bit like shaking me, like, hey, remember, this is who you are. Because I was in Italy for 3 to 6 months here and there, in the middle of the spiritual life, creating a community, that spiritual sadhana, right? The lifestyle, the devotion, like the dream come true. I was dying inside. There was no one. I was like completely depleted. There was no one there to support me, to understand me. And so back to New York, I was feeling connecting to my essence, to my truth, to my frequency, to my blueprint. And I started to understand that it's not my life there. What am I doing there? It's not in my alignment with my visions, with my integrity, the ideas I live for. And I made a decision to go to Italy after that month spending alone in New York, packing my things, 5 luggages, and coming back. The decision was made mentally, but to physically do it and execute and proceed, actually, it was the hardest thing. And I had to give a call to this lady, therapist, who from the first conversation, it was March 5th. How amazing that we remember all of these days like thoroughly. I
Right.
called her and I said briefly, I'm going through this, and that. And she said, Anastasia, she's a clinical therapist, psychotherapist. She said, I don't care whom you married to, a guru, a teacher, a saint, you are dealing with a sex porn addict, narcissist behavior patterns, and mental abuse. And she said, this will never change. And it was a slap, like a cold water shower effect in my whole essence, my whole instrument. I was like, wait a minute, how? Like I was believing it will change because he was on his knees. He would never leave me if I left myself. It was just perfect container, incubator for him to be safe being married, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
you gave him credibility. Women would trust him because he was married to you.
That's how people started to come
right?
to the ashram when we found it together, the divine union, the couple. And we had about 30 people right away there helping. It was a beautiful idea on the surface. But
Because you were the twin flame. You're the twin flame couple. We all want to be a part of that. How compelling you probably felt on top of the world for a fraction of a second until it hit you.
Of the second, literally.
So she actually confronted you with the truth. Shocking. And how did you cope with that? What did you do next?
I had to go to Italy to pack my things, but it didn't take me like a day, right? The decision was made, but how to integrate, to embody, to pull that high consciousness, your higher self decision in a physical mind. How do you actually do that? And I go there. It was about Shivaratri, a beautiful divine Hindu holiday when they celebrate the night of the Shiva and also the divine marriage between Shiva and Shakti. And to know more about this person is that on that Shivaratri, he didn't even mention one phrase about the divine union of Shiva and Shakti. It was all Shiva, 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 worshipping, admiring, washing his feet. When it was also a period of my birthday, the March 12th is my birthday, and I was sick in bed, literally dying, didn't know how to drag my body out of the bed to start packing because I was in such pain. And people don't know, people in the community, people who live there, they have no idea because I was just numb coming out of the room, coming out inside the room, and I was just dying. And it took me approximately 10 days, 2 weeks to recover because, like, psyche is very weird. Subconsciously, I attracted the illness. I started to be sick, right? The sore throat, etc. Not to leave, prolong that separation, because I understood if I leave right now, it's the period. I will never come back. This is who I am. I tried to leave multiple times before, but it was the final decision. And when I packed, when in that moment when I was packing, I remember I was closing my eyes, and I was feeling my pain, my own pain. I was thinking, Anastasia, you didn't develop yourself. You didn't go to America to travel to all these beautiful retreat centers, all of the trainings you did, all the mentors and spiritual guides you have. You didn't come here for this. And I was feeling connected to that pain. But when I was opening my eyes, I was seeing him in his pain. So it was very hard being in heightened empath, being a Piscean, I'm Pisces, feeling extra for everyone's. It was sad for me to leave him.
Right.
I felt like I'm leaving a kitten in a dark forest who is lost. Because when I was leaving, it was a community gathering, and he was announcing that Luna Devi is leaving because Baba, his guru, gave him the divine guidance that Shivananda Swamiji needs to be in brahmacharya, in celibacy.
So he turned around your leaving by saying that it was actually because he now is to be celibate.
Yes.
Of course, we know he wasn't celibate, but he made it sound like it was all his decision. And
yes. And to my point, it was so embarrassing. I remember I was sitting there crying. I could not even lift my face up to see people's faces because I was so embarrassed for him. How, on what level he could use his seat, self-proclaimed, to mislead his own community like that. And I understood right now I have to save myself. I don't have a resource to speak about it. And nobody will believe me because the charismatic, bright nature of the narcissist will misguide, put you in delusion.
right.
Everyone.
Right. And hard to even trust your own. And this is why we're having you on today to talk about this, because it's so common. I too, when I was in that situation, had trouble trusting that I was being abused, even though I knew I was, and my kids were. I needed, so to be confronted like that. And what saved me was a couple of friends that kept putting it in my eyes, put it in your face. So guys, if you have friends in this situation, we are the ones that help our friends. We are the ones that actually can tell them what happened. So I just really honor you. So you left, and then I guess you went and did all this research to find out who he is. So let us know what you have found out. No.
Not really right away, because I gave myself a promise, Anastasia, give yourself time. Don't indulge in that healing process of that pain. You don't have time, okay? You came here for things to do, to realize. Remember that. And it was easier for me when I was already here in New York, coming back to zero, sleeping on my friends' couches, because I gave up my whole life in America. I put everything to the storage, selflessly devoted, like to the horizons. You go there, I go there. You go to the moon, I go there. That's who I am, how I was. And so coming back to zero and having the community here and doing my classes, I was having 4 months of the therapy. It was necessary. And I'm a Russian, I'm from Russia. And Russian approach is we didn't really believe in therapy.
We drink vodka.
Yeah.
Right? We don't.
Not anymore like that, but imagine how many people are experiencing the suffering and pain, and they are out of touch of their emotions, and they seek for any resources, but definitely not the therapy. And so I was also trained in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I was a master practitioner and I worked with Ericksonian hypnosis, but I could not help myself in that situation when I was just drowning in a pond, and I was reaching out to this lady who just dragged me out of there, really almost harshly, Russian way. She was like,
Right.
no sugarcoating, like, this is it, okay? I'm not here to tell you maybe, no, this is it. And me accepting the pace, the approach of hers, being in 4 months of the therapy and also working with the energy helped me. I remember people coming to my classes in for example, April, and they were coming to my classes 4 months later, and they were in shock. They were like, your spark in eyes is back. How did you do it?
Because of your work,
Yes.
right? So let's talk a little bit about how you came back before we close out. Yeah.
Sure.
How did you come back? How do you recommend that women who've been in this situation can come back to their full potential?
Yes. And so even touching upon the impact of that information might create a huge disruptor in some spiritual communities, in some households, but you guys are ready, despite women and men, you guys are ready to hear that. I know it's embarrassing. I know sometimes we feel shame to speak about it, because when we are in this situation, we come out, a lot of communities, a lot of people around us are judging our experiences, and they say it's a common sense. He's a narcissist. He's a manipulator. How didn't you see that? But you are in that delusion. You don't see that. You are completely like on a different spell. How, John, you were saying exactly, it was under spell. Not that he was actually doing something to like put this like the cast on you, but you are in that frequency under influence of the most charismatic people, narcissists,
and everyone around him worshiped him, right? So how could you could see who he is. So I understand this. So you threw yourself, you came back to America because your therapist was very firm with you and you had already committed to that. So she saved your life.
Yes.
We know that she saved your life, but you had agreed
Yes.
And so you came back here. So you living on your friends' couches, but you began your work again.
Yes. And so I would definitely tell people who are going right now, was going last year and still going through the processes, allow yourself time and space to go through that. Do not overindulge in that, because we are human beings. We didn't come here for suffering and experiencing pain for the whole life. We came here to joy, love, and experiment. But first of all, if you can, block that person. I know sometimes it can be a family member. It doesn't matter. Detach yourself from that environment, because they are masters manipulators. With your psyche, they know all of your buttons. They know all of your weak points. So eliminate all information about them on social, block it completely. And honestly, you will go from being so in that information, you're going to skyrocketing to your future realization, your healing. Second of all, reach out to the therapy, not a coach, a therapy who really understand. They work with that. It's not a conversational friend to friend, mother to anybody support. They have no idea what you are going through. And third of all, what helped me, it was my work with Kundalini activation, when we are in altered state of consciousness, coming out of the physical mind. And it can be transmuted, released on the physical, emotional, and mental on a very subtle level, right? It's like a therapy without therapy for you. I have students that I've trained. I do myself the online classes Saturdays and Thursdays. Please reach out. I am eager to help, especially women who are going through some suffering experiences right now. I'm giving out the sessions. Please join. Please just for that moment, give yourself that moment to detach from your psyche, from your ego, and see how it is really. And it will help you to heal.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. So one last question.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us his name again? and kind of
Yes.
what kind of charges there are.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go back to all the juicy good things.
Absolutely. His name is, my ex-spiritual husband's name is Shivananda Swamiji, self-proclaimed guru. He created an image of himself. He believed it and moving forward with agenda with no remorse. He is finding that people in power with money to proceed with his ashram right now in America because he fled his own country, Italy. He got married to an American young woman, and she's pregnant now. That is another perfect protection cap for all of the things he created, for all of the harm he's not having responsibility for. And 3 years ago, I was not choosing to expose him publicly because I was always saying, if I was 17 or 27, I would destroy him. That's how I was, with the justice, the core essence of the justice. When I was 33 or 35, I already had different approach and a little bit of more wisdom, maturity. That 3 years ago, I was thinking, on a high spiritual level, it's an experiment. The soul that still requires that dramatic pain, extreme polarity will seek for the experience like him. And so I decided not to speak about it, right? I healed and I was silent. To my consciousness, to my awareness, started to come the information when I started to expose, because I was thinking, it's 3 years now, I'm ready, I'm healed, I don't have anger, I don't have hate, I'm not coming from the place of revenge, absolutely not. I'm coming from the place of the authenticity, and it was my truth, it was my story, and I'm revealing it right now. So I lost my thought.
Your thought is good. So you're talking about how actually you came back. In one way, you're revealing who he is, but in the other, it has to do
Yes.
not with revenge,
Yes.
but with, in other words, he needs help. And the truth is that he's of a lower vibrational frequency and he does need help. But we all of you out there actually need to know and avoid him
Yes.
as well, but also how to avoid other situations. Because it seems to me that the dark goes after the light, that the dark there's a dark attraction to women like us. I'm a Pisces like you. So that love heart that we have is so vulnerable, and
pure. It is naive, but naivety, that openness to the world, it's that the perfect prey for the people like him, the tricksters. It's like the plan, the program that still exists to test us in our core, right? In that truth. And it's testing him too, because he's working with Kundalini energy, but he's choosing the shadow, he's choosing the darkness, all of this down spiral processes, because it's manipulation and lies. And what I was saying prior, that 3 years ago, I wasn't ready, and I understood, it's just in a divine, everything is orchestrated in a divine way. But when the information started to come to my awareness, I was furious. I was becoming like a Kali. Forget about the Shakti Saras. I was Kali. Right. I was like, when do we stop agreeing collectively to the processes like that? Yes, they bring some teachings. Yes, they do some beautiful work, but if they're still not integrated in the human level, right? I always say you can be self-destructing. You can have binge watching, binge eating, binge shopping, whatever you do for self-coping, right? When there is trauma, something occurs. But if you do on a scale of the masses, you create the pain consciously, periodically. It's a toxic pattern. You're harming another human being. It's like a spiritual crime.
Well, it is a spiritual crime, and we know that karma is going to get him. But I'm excited for you. And let's go back to the now. First of all, this is the first time really that you've told your story. I saw you telling it on Instagram, and I just knew we had to do this show together. So is there anything else you want people to know? And I know we'll tell them again how to find you. I have your link tree. Is there another place that people can find you?
Linktree, my Instagram, Anastasia Armanova. I'm doing classes online uh, all over the globe, and I also travel right now. I'm off to my mother country, Russia, and then on the way back, I will be traveling to Italy, hopefully, and then I'm coming back, moving to Florida finally, expanding with the Purity Sensation School, the impacts of Kundalini activation in Miami. And I love to travel. I cannot sit still in one place for a long time. The energy just moves me. I'm just creating right now on Saturday evening, 7:30 p.m., the community gathering of like-minded people. Yes, just find me, reach out. And especially those women who are still going through some suffering, separation, going through narcissistic abuse, please reach out. We'll do a session.
I love that. I just love that. You're just so beautiful. I love your authenticity. I just love your openness, and that the fact now you have the courage. And now is the time. Let's face it. Now is the time for this exposure to happen, and it's not coming from anger or anything, except now is the time. And I understand you want to be interviewed. If there's anyone out there who hears the show, reach out to her. If you need help or support, reach out to her. You will not be disappointed. This is a love, pure, amazing woman who's been through it and who can actually help you as well. So, Anastasia, thank you so much. I just love you to the moon and back. If you stick around for a minute, we can chat for a second. I'm just going to.
Sure. I love you so much. Thank you, dear John.
Just such a pleasure, such a pleasure. You know, guys, so many of us go through this. Oop, we're going to go the other way. So many of us go through this, and it's not new. It's as women, we really deal with this. And so her story, let it motivate you, let it shine you, and let it heal your heart, and know that you can have help. So I want to thank you all for being with us today. If you love what we talk about, please like, share, and subscribe with your families and friends. That's how we grow. If you reach out to Anastasia, she's going to help you. If you reach out to me, I'm honored to be part of your journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and transformation. I'm just thrilled to be a part of this with you. And until next time, shine your brilliance and live your best life. See you then.